Hi, sir.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
What are the major key takeaways from the session?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways is that the industry and the Web2 giants are also looking to evolve into a Web3 ecosystem, which is actually very, very good. So it's going to be very good for the ecosystem and the entire industry. So that's a good takeaway.
So as we know that as far as technology is concerned, early adopters have always been the younger age groups. So what do you think? What we need to take care of in terms of awareness, so that the later age groups can also come on board.
So right now, if you look at the industry, even for traditional Web2 companies, especially in the entertainment sector, majority of the users are Gen Z and millennials. So the same trend will kind of apply into the Web3, but then you will see a more inclusive approach where the users who want to have a part of the revenues from the ecosystem will be early adopters in this space, because Web3 products are all about sharing revenues rather than being one-sided. So, earlier in Web2, you have one company which is making all the revenue, while the consumers are consuming that for free and not making any revenues. But here in Web3, it's going to be the other way around, where for the time and attention, they are going to get compensated. So it's going to be the attention economy. So in that sense, I think the age group is going to vary regardless of where they are. Anyone who's interested in participating in the economy will be onboarded.
We have started talking about Web3 since a decade, I guess. So what do you think? But there is still a gap between the tangible outcome in Web3 and everything. So where do you foresee that outcomes coming in next maybe 10 years?
Well, see, this is evolutionary in nature. It is not something that happens overnight. Even if you look at the internet, it took so many years for websites to come in. Even today, some companies don't have websites, right? But now the economy changed from websites to apps. Still, there are people who still don't have websites. Similarly, there are a lot of businesses now who don't have applications. In the same way, people migrating to Web3, you will have early adopters who will move swiftly and try to monetize and capitalize on the opportunity. But I see that, but definitely the adoption for Web3 is not going to take as long as it's taken for Web2 or Web. It's going to be very, very fast. Probably half of the time that is taken for Web3. So I see that majority adoption should happen before 2026, 2025. So around that, next 3 to 4 years.
As you know that Web3 is decentralized.
Yes.
So where do you foresee what are the major roadblocks in the security in security part of that Web3 in India particularly? Okay.
So when you're talking about security, there's a whole debate and there's a confusion around this. Even in Web3, any data which is user centric or anything which can identify a user uniquely is not going to be public. It cannot be public because it goes against the fundamentals of privacy, right? But when you talk about Web3, the smart contracts which allow you to participate in Web3 businesses will be programmed in such a way that the decentralization happens in the ownership of the product. So decentralization is for the product, not for the user data or anything else. Yeah, maybe anonymized user data could be on the internet, but then it's non-identifiable data. It will not be identifiable. But those things, again, as time passes by, we have to learn about those things, their shortcomings, and utilize existing security frameworks, which are quite robust because they're trusted by banks and governments, and apply them to the Web3 aspect so that there is no leakage. And then from there evolve into better models.
Where do you foresee brands incorporating Web3 in their marketing strategies and and use it as an effective marketing tool? Because we know that the fact that in Web3, companies cannot have that access of data that they right now have.
Yeah. See. Okay. So it is very simple. If you take an example, if you look at an influencer marketing kind of use case, right? In the past, when a brand had to run an advertisement, they would go to an ad agency, they will create an advertisement and they'll publish it on the television or on some other platform, YouTube ads, wherever. But in the last few years, you're noticing that the brands are contacting influencers. So you will see influencers with 1 million, 5 million users who are promoting brands like hair oils and stuff like that. So it has already been decentralized because brands are now kind of getting used to understanding their user base and directly working with influencers. In a Web3 space, because it's decentralized, the data availability is never going to die away. So decentralization doesn't mean non-measurement. Decentralization means distributed ownership of an asset so that everybody is equally compensated for their participation. But the data collection mechanisms will still exist. Although maybe moderated, could have other tools around it. If you look at Brave browser, for example, Brave browser has a large user base of users who are browsing internet on through a Web3 browser. Brave browser has data, but it's not identifiable data, because if you look at a company like maybe a social media company today, they will know which user is doing what. But in Web3, you will know that user is doing this, so you can target that user, but you don't know who that user is.
Identity of the user.
Yeah, but on the other side, in Web3, what happens is, anyway, I'm giving my data, right? I'm giving my data to Facebook and Google, saying that for this particular advertisement, I'm viewing this website. Let's say I'm interested in haircut, so it will send me an advertisement. So I'm giving the data for free. But in Web3, I can still choose to give the data, but I'll charge for the data because I'm now showing an ad, I will be paid a part of the ad revenue. So this is perfect for brands, because right now every single dollar that the brand is spending is going towards the agency, right, or the company or the publisher. But now the publisher has to share that revenue with the user because his time, energy, and information is valuable.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very well explained.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thanks.